All right, welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, we have 57 participants on the line. We always shoot for our target of 100, so please text your teammates and remind them to get on the morning call because we have none other than Mr. Bill Predebon as our speaker for today, our trainer for today. And if you are new to the call, you don't know Bill's backstory, before getting started with Renatus, Bill was actually a pro skier in Vail, Colorado for over 10 years. And around that time, he actually realized that he was not qualified to do much else and felt unemployable. He then got into the franchise industry, but due to a lack of knowledge, it ended up costing him his business and he lost everything. In 2007, he had heard about real estate investing, but didn't have the education to do it on his own. So he did take the chance, tried it on his own, and ended up again, going upside down on a house and during the crash of 2008. After all these obstacles, these mistakes he had made, he finally found Renatus, and he saw the value in it right away because it provided him the knowledge, the education, the network, and the environment for him to grow and succeed. And in his first year alone, he made 8 times more than he had in his previous year. Ever since then, Bill Predebon has now done over 130 deals. He's grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate. He's a PIT team member. He's a marketing leader. And we're just very fortunate to have Bill as our trainer here today. So without further delay, without further ado, I'd like to bring Mr. Bill Predebon on the line. So good morning, Bill. How is your morning going today?
Abdi, how's the volume this morning?
Actually, we can hear you loud and clear this time.
Well, that is a good thing. My morning, my friend, is going great. I am in my hometown of Michigan for the 4th of July week, and I'm going to enjoy. I just got here last night, so I'm going to enjoy the day. How's your morning going, brother?
It's going fantastic. Thank you for asking. I was traveling last week. I wasn't able to make it on these calls, so I'm back in business, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Right on. Glad you're here. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. Thanks for taking care of hosting this show and putting us on when you're in town and taking care of us. And I don't know the guy's name that I think it was Jeremy that took care of some of your work for you last week when you were gone, and he did a great job. So thanks to the both of you. Thank you, Abdi, for everything you do for us. All right, folks, I'm going to throw the video up here. There it is. And I think I'm a little dark. Let's see. I may even share my screen today and do a little writing in the walls, but we'll see about that. Let's see. Uh-oh. I'm just fixing my screen. Hold on, guys. Well, that's weird. It is a little dark. Okay, hopefully you guys can see me okay, if that's even something you're doing. For those of you who, I don't know why I have a double view. Hold on one second, I'm almost done. Let's see, gallery. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I see you just fine. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. All right, let's kick this off. I'm going to put in my cell phone, you guys, just so you have it, 760-533-3141. It's not typing. One more time, 760-533-3141. All right, there's my number. Cool. So, yes, let's kick it off, you guys. First of all, I want to remind you, as I always do, if you're new or old to the call, it doesn't matter. You know me, and actually all of our leaders are open to questions. Cover the bright windows, then we'll see you. Okay, maybe that's better. That's funny. I could turn a little bit. The bright windows was there for a reason, because it's so beautiful out here. And I'm in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, and And I'll tell you, it's just awesome compared to Phoenix, Arizona. Well, I mean, I love Phoenix, but anyway. So what I was saying is, any questions or thoughts or comments that you guys want to make, you can do that, and no matter what the topic. So, but I've obviously taken some notes and thought about this last night, as I always do. I did not get to walk my dogs this morning, but so be it. Hopefully my dog sitter is taking care of them like she always does. She's awesome. So listen, if you have any questions, type them in the chat, or just come off mute and come on out. Go ahead. Who's that? Okay. Sometimes I can't always hear you. All right. So hopefully you guys were on the call last night for the webinar. I was on a plane right when the webinar was going on, so I haven't been able to watch the webinar yet. I will watch it this morning, but hopefully the rest of you were on the call, on the webinar, and there were pretty big announcements. Sammy Go Clark, I heard, did an amazing training. So, but yeah, Leaders Retreat, pretty exciting opportunity this year. I think it's probably going to be this year and this year only. And if I were you, I would take advantage of it. So we joked about this the other day, and I was talking about this. Good morning. Did you have a question? No. So I was doing a house tour. This is going to relate to Leaders Retreat, you guys. I was doing a house tour on Saturday at one of my fix and flips, and it was a short sale, and I was closing the room after I went through the education, and I went through the opportunity with Renatus. The way we do things is we do a mini epic after we do the numbers and go through the numbers on the house and how we found it and funded it and flipped it and the potential profit and things like that. And I said this, I said, here's the thing. This is going to jump right into what we're talking about. And I want to do some how-to stuff, like how to close business, how to work with students, potential students and stuff like that, not just the why, but I'm going to mix it in a little bit and the what and stuff like that. But here's what I said. So a lot of people will look at 20,000 and they'll gather information at an epic. If you're taking notes, I think this is great. I will be there, Bill, in Virginia. That's going to be awesome. So they'll immediately say no. So the thought is, and pertaining to Leaders Retreat as well for you, is say yes. Okay. So I like to say yes to everything. When I see an opportunity, immediately without knowing anything about it, a property, especially an offer to take a look at a property, to buy a property, I'm yes, right? I can always say no. So even especially with my sellers, I've got an inspection period, but even with wholesalers, that say, hey, are you interested in a property over here? I'm going to blast it out next week or tomorrow. And so here's Renatus, right? Renatus is saying, hey, you have an opportunity to go to Leaders Retreat. It's a short time only. You can bring your family. You don't have to be 5 or 1 star qualified, specific qualifications. We're going to open it up to everybody. Your immediate response should be yes. Okay. And you already know you may or may not have the money. You may or may not have the time off. Whatever the reasons why you won't go are there. But maybe, so here's what happens. When you say yes, a couple things happen. You begin to change your mindset and you start to think of how you can go instead of how you can't go. Okay. Now I'm using this in the room. I'm doing it a little bit faster on Saturday, but what happens with people is when someone says yes to somebody, the other person is committed. Okay. So, when you say yes to a wholesaler, for example, and not all wholesalers are like this, they're going to blast it out. I understand that. But when someone's even a private seller or someone who knows a private seller is coming to you, or any opportunity for that matter comes your way and they say yes to you, they offer you an opportunity and you say yes, they're committed. They're committed to the idea that you might do this deal. that you might buy it from them, that you might go with them, right? So, so you now have a little bit of negotiation power, right? Because in their mindset, you've said yes, right? They're not willing to, especially sellers, right? Like they're not thinking that you're not going to follow through. Now you have said yes because you believe that you want to say yes, not to lose the opportunity. And therefore, you know that you may come across something that's going to change the terms. And so you might have to go back to them and say, it's too much. I need to look at different time frames or whatever the case is. But at the very least, you've committed yourself to start to think about how you can do this, not how you can't do it. So what I was doing so I want you to think about this for the Leaders Retreat. If you say yes to the Leaders Retreat now, and you give yourself the time to say no later. If you say no now, this is what I'm getting at with with your folks and prospects in Renatus, right? And I mentioned this, and I believe that you can use this, in my opinion, in your own conversations. We're not looking for everybody to enroll in Renatus, right? We don't have point of sale systems with us at every event. You don't have it with you all the time. I mean, you might have it in your backpack because you have your computer, but you're not sitting there holding them to a sales item. I mean, to a wallet and a checkbook. However, you've asked them for the sale on numerous occasions, and you're talking to them, and they may be brand new on Thursday night. And so what I say to people is this. Automatically, instinctively, we are taught to say no. It's risky. We don't have the money. We can't afford it. It costs too much. $20,000 is a lot of money. It's not going to work. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. I won't do it. Whatever the things that we are thinking about when we see it, even though we like it, most people like it. Most people want it. Most people feel it. But instinctively, we're going to say no. Here's the problem with no. And I'm saying this at the property tour. The problem with no is there's regret. Okay. Now think about this when it pertains to you and the Leaders Retreat too, right? When we're thinking, okay, now I don't have to be qualified. I can actually pay the money to go here to do this. The whole point was you're probably thinking, well, heck, if I can get qualified and make a $10,000 sale, I've got the funds to go. Makes sense. So with folks that are seeing the information for the first or second time, and their first thing to say is no, and they're not telling you no, like, no, I don't want to do this, but they're hemming and hawing. They're trying to figure out why they won't be doing this. The greatest part about it is that we want to get them the information. So when people say no, or they start to say that I'm going to go home and think about it, and you and I both know if they don't come around to meetings and they don't go to many exposures, they're not going to commit. They can't get past it. They can't get over the $20,000 hump without getting more information. And you hear Michael Huggins and the leaders, Dane Clark, talk about, Christian Sadler talk about gathering enough information, right? Now, here's the thing. When people say no, they don't know what they're missing, right? So there's regret. They start to have that feeling of, if I said no and I don't know what it is that I'm missing, I don't know what the opportunity is. Now imagine this. A stock opportunity comes your way, and we just saw the Facebook thing, right? And an opportunity comes and you say no immediately without doing any due diligence, without really taking a look at it and understanding. I mean, he didn't just give up $60,000 worth of artwork to get some hopeful stock options off a whim. I mean, I'm sure he understood who the investors were that were coming into Facebook. I'm sure he, talked to Mark Zuckerberg or whoever and was making an intelligent decision because he got some information, right? But he probably first didn't say no. He said yes first. And then he found out if it was going to be worth the risk. So when we say no and the stock opportunity comes along, and then we always look back and we think. And we always go, man, I wonder if I made a mistake. I wonder what would have happened. I wonder what could have been. And we start to have a little bit of regret. We start to, yeah, I can mute everybody. Thanks, Keely. Someone's in the background. Don't forget to mute yourselves. We are recording. Let's see. Bam, manage participates. All right, cool. Thanks, Skill Bills. All right, you are muted, so just if you want to come off mute, *6, I think, and then you can unmute yourself. So check it out. When we say no, and we don't have all the information, I promise you, ultimately, there is regret because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what's possible, and they don't know what they could be missing. So when you say yes, first, yes allows you to have an opportunity to win. Yes allows you to think of the possibility of what's good. Think of the possibility of what could be, right? And just because we say yes doesn't mean that we can't negotiate better terms, better price, better anything, right? It also allows us to have, like I said, that mindset where now we can start to think about how we can do it instead of always thinking about why we can't do it. Okay, so when I was at the room on Saturday and I was closing, I was reminding people, you're seeing this for the first or second time. You're gonna, and I always, and you heard Dane Clark use this term. I always future pace, right? So I always talk to people about what it's going to be like when they get there. You're going to come on Wednesday. You're going to see this information. You're going to talk to your, it's not if you get back to your person or, when you get back to the person that invited you. It's you're going to get back to the person you're inviting. They're going to tell you about a little bit more about velocity banking. They're going to give you the information you need to get to the meeting on Wednesday night and things like that. Once you go to Wednesday night, you're going to see what it's like to see this in detail, and you're going to gather more information. The great thing is that at the very least, you'll feel good about your decision. The more times you show up, the more information you see, the more people you meet, the more opportunity you have to explore what we have. No matter what your decision is, you'll feel comfortable. You'll back it up. You'll feel like you made the right decision because you had all the information. So right there, we can move people to another event. Like nobody's going to say, nope, I got enough information, right? I mean, there's bitter people, but I guarantee, I know it. They're going to be thinking to themselves, that makes sense. I don't want to say no to something that could be really, really powerful. It's cost-free. It's non-obligatory for me to go to another event. And this guy or girl is telling me that if I go to another event, I'm going to have all the information, and now I can make the right decision and feel good about my decision. They're actually taking that information in and considering that to be even helpful, even thoughtful, right? That you are exploring that option, that you're not saying, hey, you need to do this, that you told me this is why you need to do it, and all those things. It's, you're even giving them an option, right? And people love options, but you're giving them an option to say no later. And they love it. And the more people see this information, the more touches we get, 3, 4, 5 touches, the majority of those people will enroll. They might not still have the money yet, but they will enroll, and now they will be committed to finding the money because they will see the value in what we offer. It's not as easy to see the value on a 50-minute over or 30, a 2-hour tour or a 30-minute overview video or something to that nature, to that effect, right? So any questions or thoughts, you guys, you can chat them in. So for you folks, in my opinion, based on what we learned last night, for the leaders retreat, the opportunities that come down the road for you, say yes. Say yes until you figure out how to do it later, or you can always say no later. The other thing is you can negotiate. You know what I mean? You can negotiate with yourself. You can negotiate with whoever it is. You've got people are committed, right? Renatus is committed at this point to allowing people to come that aren't qualified based on the traditional qualifications, right? So So you have an opportunity to take advantage of that time set, and you have the opportunity to negotiate how many days you want to go, 4, 5, or 6, or 7, and things like that. So it gives you a little bit of power. It gives you a little bit of power. Thanks. I appreciate that, Scott. Awesome. And you can always say no. You can always say no. So consider that. Now let's move on to and it's just so cool that Renatus is doing that. And not everybody's on the webinar. Not everybody's on this webinar and training. So if there's someone in your sphere of influence, someone that that doesn't show up to the meetings regularly or whatever, reach out to them. Let them know about the opportunity with Renatus and the Leaders Retreat. I've been going every year since 2016. We never did these back in the old company when I worked pretty diligently in the company from 2008 to 2011, my first 3 years back in the day. So these are really powerful events. We have a really good time. My wife and I usually go, this time we're going for 8 days. We usually go from 8 to 10 days. We spend some extra time by ourselves exploring the area. And it's just awesome. And so the networking, the people we get to meet, it's like none other. At National, you're working. You're 24/7. You're on. You don't sleep much. You don't eat much. You're running around. You're trying to gather as much information as you can, and it's all jam-packed in 3 days. This is relaxing. This is a different atmosphere, and it is, in my opinion, the opportunity given by Bob and the team to allow anybody to come and to bring family, where family typically isn't supportive or interested sometimes in what we're doing. It's amazing. It's an amazing opportunity. Say yes to that. Say yes to your family, and then work on trying to get them to come. If you say, my family's never going to go, they would never do that, then you're right. They'll never do it. And nothing will change, which is fine. But if you want change, it's just so much better to say yes. I say yes to everything. Right? Okay. So here I am. I'm in Michigan and I'm on vacation, and it's 10 a.m. here. It's 3 hours ahead of what I normally do this call. And it's beautiful. It's unbelievable weather. It's 75. And normally I'd be out running. I'd take a run. Sometimes I go to the gym here, but I'm going to go running every day. And so we got in late. I went to bed around 2 a.m. Here, 2:30 in the morning, my time here. So I only got about 6 hours sleep, got up at 8, and I committed to this call. I got up, took some notes, made sure that I figured out how to make the coffee here, and so there's a certain commitment that we make, all right? And I want to take commitment and move it into a how, right? So I think that it's important that we spend the time implementing things and not just the why. But I am going to touch a little bit about the why. So, we're going to spend Monday to Monday here. It's a pretty good vacation. And this is one of about 10 that I'm taking this year, right? Compared to what I've already taken to London, California, Michigan, and we've got Dallas, Vail, Colorado, Panama, and then we're going to California from the 4th of September to the 18th of September to spend some time in our townhouse out in California on the beach. My point is that it's nice, right? It's nice to be able to do these things. So the opportunity is there for you, in my opinion, to be a part of, to partake in this, to have a schedule that you love, right? And the thing for me, what I'm getting at with the commitment is that this call, I could easily have gotten someone else to do it or just told Michael I couldn't do it. I'm going to be out of town. I mean, and really I am. I mean, with family right now, my mom's up talking to my dad and I could be with them. And I will be, but I made a commitment to this call. The call is just a byproduct of the commitment to Renatus. And Renatus is a byproduct, is a commitment to myself, right? And Renatus is the vehicle that I've chosen to drive me to the success that I want to have and the money I want to have and the lives I want to change. And so at this point, so in 2016, I made that commitment. When I made that commitment, I committed to the fact that I would go to every meeting, that I would be on every call, that if there was a way, I would be there, that I wouldn't allow certain things to influence whether or not I'm there at the meeting or not. There have been times when Thursday nights have come and it's been a bad day, but I have to go to Thursday night and I have to not just show up at Thursday night. I have to give the speech, or I have to do a training, or I have to meet my team's guests or my team, and I have to change my state of mind, right? I cannot let the outside factors of my life affect my Thursday nights while I'm there. There's a certain level of commitment that has to happen all of the time in order to be an entrepreneur in this way and make this business work. I think that, you know, Bob's earlier thing, it will come. And for many of you, it's going to happen far faster than it happened for me and maybe many of the leaders as far as getting qualified, making money, building a team and things like that. And a lot of you already on the call have done it much faster than me, which is awesome. But it's still a commitment. So here's where I'm going with this. So I have a list, right? I know that I'm going to be talking to a guy named Dave who just enrolled with me. I'm going to give him a call. I was supposed to call him on Sunday. I didn't get a chance to call him on Sunday. We barely texted. He's diving into the velocity banking. I'm going to check in with my team, right? Because this new announcement happened last night, right? Yesterday I was flying, getting ready to fly out, and we had the training call in the morning with Michael, and then we had a pit pack call for an hour with Bob and the pack. And so, you know, again, opportunity arose where I could have had a very good excuse not to be on that call, but instead, I showered early and finished packing, and I still had errands to run, feed my dogs, get the house ready and everything like that to catch my Uber to the airport. And I still made the call. There's always a reason not to be on these things. Now, here's the thing, where we can apply this for yourselves is, in my opinion, everyone is a follow-up. The continuous follow-up is something that I implement on a daily basis. People at Nationals were asking me, you know, when I made the pit, awesome, Rico, that's cool. See you in Panama. I committed to my team. I committed to have a sale for every sale that, or either way you want to look at it, chicken and the egg, right? A sale from my team and a sale from me. I always have to lead by example. I always have to have direct sales. I can't rely just on my team, but I don't want to do it on my own. And I committed to the people that enrolled with me that chose to be an IMA to also work with them and to spend time with them. And so, you know, I try on a regular basis, even folks that I don't talk to all the time, that don't come to all the meetings, right? I have 40 some odd people on my team, and I try to reach out to every single one of them in a given time. Many of them, not every day, not every week, but every month, right? And many of them every day, because they're active every day. They're working on deals, they're making offers, they're talking to people. We've got follow-ups to set up and so on and so forth. And then you've got everybody in between. This is exactly with your prospects. You categorize folks just like you will your team, and you follow up with them all the time. It's a constant communication, you know, and if you really want to touch somebody, if you really want to make a difference in someone's life, you call them up. You call them up instead of text them, and you talk to them, right? Yesterday morning at the airport, my God, I got to think about where it was. I had a call at 8 o'clock no, that was, yeah, Monday with Delilah. And I had to miss the call because I forgot. Oh, I'm just going to get confused on the time frame. My point is, I got on the phone with Delilah because she has two really important guests coming on Wednesday. And then I called my buddy Kevin at the airport while I'm getting and he's a leader with Scottsdale Renatus. He's going to be doing the presentation tomorrow night. And I said, hey, Kev, I know you're slammed. And he's like, Bill, I got 5 guests. Gary's got a couple guests. He's up north at the cabin. You got guests. Brian's got guests. And I said, hey, man, I need help with these guests. So Kevin's probably going to be nervous the next 2 days. So I'll reach out to Keely. I'll reach out to a couple other people to talk to these folks. But I was on the phone with her. There's a constant follow-up, and the phone call is so much more powerful than the text. The text is important because you have to be efficient with your time. And let's think about it, guys and girls. You guys work. You guys have families. You guys are not you're not doing stupid stuff like I did, which is decide to burn all the boats and have no job and no income and run this business full time, both real estate, well, mainly real estate for me back then when I first started. You're doing it the right way, which is keeping your W-2 until you can double your income and replace it. You know what I mean? So do that. So you have to fit this in. So texts are going to be more effective for you, more efficient for you. But there's going to come a time when you categorize these people and they need to hear from you. They want to hear from you. Like that face-to-face business changes people's lives and changes your life. And it gets them to the event. So, for me, I'm old school, you guys. We're going to have some pretty amazing things coming out in Helios like we already do. Our CRM is going to be amazing. Our point of contact, our follow-up messaging, and everything like that. But I can tell you, people have made multiple 7 figures. People have made multiple 6 figures, and people make money and people change lives all the time for the last decades without those CRMs and without those point of contact follow-up systems. They're going to enhance everything we do. But at the end of the day, it's a people business. And people are making a $20,000 decision. And they're buying, you've always heard this, they're buying you, they're buying the community, and not just the product. So, if you can, I'm old school, like I was saying, I write things down. And then when I write them down, I don't have to go back and look at them all the time. It gets categorized in my head, but writing it down gives me that memory that I need to remind myself where people are. Now, over time, you've got a bunch of people. So I constantly, right here in my book, I carry around a list of leads, you guys. And if you can't see me because you're on the phone, I'm looking for this list. And I got this list of leads, and it's huge. And this is only a portion of it, right? Because I rewrite the list. I have a blank piece of paper right there for more to rewrite it. So I can go back through and I rewrite my list after I talk to them again, and I call people. And so, but it puts them in categories of where they are, what their commitment level is to me and to Renatus, and where they are financially. Now, as you roll through into people in a follow-up position, and they've been to an event and they've committed, and you've followed Dane Clark's advice that he gave last week, which was awesome, right? The way he places an order and asks people to get their account open. And hey, do you like this? Is this what you want? This is what you want to do. You're telling me this is how it's going to be. You're telling me all these things. Great. The next step is we place your order. Don't worry about the funding. We'll find the funding in a little while, but we place the order first. So you followed that advice. Now you have people within an order. They're not going to go get their own funding. Sometimes they will, and even if you figured out where the funding's coming from, it's still processed. So, with Oscar and Anna, with Joe, who's under Jim and Carrie, it's a constant follow-up, and then I follow up with Jim and Carrie, and Jim and Carrie are awesome up-and-coming leaders. I can't wait for what they're about to accomplish, but they are in contact with all their folks. They know their people. Jen, she knows her people, right? I'm like, hey, text me, because I can't remember everybody's list. But these are the things that are important. This follow-up and this commitment to your folks, to your guests, is so key to your success, in my opinion. It's constantly following up and texting and inviting, and then or after placing an order, it's walking them through their funding. Did you go to the credit union today? How did it go? Tell me about it. How does it look? Are you working on a backup plan? Do you have extra funds here? Right? And you're helping them through this process. If you don't have a list yet, and you're either getting started or you're re-getting started and you've been here a little while, or it's just not a full-time gig for you. And so you haven't had the opportunity to spend as much time working this business, then follow-up doesn't take any time. There's no one in the pipeline, right? If you're only being able to follow up with one person, then we know that we're missing part of see the people, right? And we know I carry my list everywhere. Yeah, so Scott says the same thing. He carries his list everywhere. I totally agree, you guys. I love the comments. So if you don't have a list, so here's the other thing. If you don't have a list and it's not very big, you're not following up, you're not finding yourself doing one-on-one follow-ups, then we need to build a bigger list, right? And so we've got to take some of the advice of Michael with the meetups. We've got to use the new drop cards. We've got to take the advice of Sandy Girl Clark. We've got to take the advice of people using Facebook media and doing the things that we're doing in order to generate these leads. We all know this. But I can promise you this. They always say it's better to give birth than wake the dead. And I agree. There are dead people. If you spend all your time texting and following up with people that are not coming and not answering your questions and not going to the events or not looking for funding, and it feels like work, and it is work, but it's pipeline work. There's nothing better than this business when you find someone who wants it the same things you want, and they enroll. They're raw right off the bat. They're ready, able, and willing, and all they need to do is get the right information. And as soon as they do, they make the decision to move forward, and they have the funding. So you can't do that if you're always following up with the people that don't have the money or don't have the time or haven't seen the vision yet, right? You're going to not follow up with them, but you always have to have a new person in line. You every week or every day or every other day or whatever you commit to on yourself for finding a new lead for the event coming up. It's so powerful, because imagine, you guys, when you have a new lead coming, and not just one, but several, the potential is there. It's unknown, right? You don't know that they're not going to like it, or that they're going to take forever to get it done, or they're not going to have money. What you know is that you have a potential prospect, and they could say yes the first day. They could be excited about going to the second event, like the property tour. So giving birth is just so much. Whoops, just checking the time. Cool. Giving birth is so much more exciting when it comes to new prospects than just following up and trying to raise the dead, right? So, and you guys get what I'm saying. It's a little bit of both, but every week we've got to have these new leads. All right. So remember, if you have any questions or thoughts, just shout them out, whether it has anything to do with this or not. I was thinking about this last night, and I want to bring it back to commitment. Is the whole reason we're doing this, and So we've got the holidays coming up, 4th of July. And if there's any way for you to do practice with your 5-star, or anybody with your in your leadership group or whatever, anybody on my team, you guys have my number, call me or text me. Then I suggest, I highly recommend practicing how you can break the ice with your friends and family. Bob Snyder talks about the holiday being such an amazing opportunity to be around folks that you care about, that you can change their life and change your own at the same time. And we tend to want to tell people about what we're doing, but we need to ask people about what they want and what they're looking for. We need to ask people about their lives and where they're at. And then all we need to do is be a listening block, right? A listening soundboard. And a listening block, I don't even know what that is. You don't have to have English or be smart to do this business, you guys. And then you want to have a solution, right? And it's any one of the Renata solutions: real estate, long-term, home, business from home, taxes, legal, velocity banking. All of these are solutions, right? But if you're not sure, if it's nerve-wracking, if you're even nervous of bringing it up with anybody, then practice it. Please talk to somebody about it. But don't waste this opportunity. I don't care if you're brand freaking new or if you're as old as I am. You have an opportunity to meet somebody and give a video, give a card to if you've done your drop cards, right? And then you have an opportunity to really be genuine with the people you love and care about, and your friends, your high school friends, college friends, wherever you're doing for the 4th of July week. And you've got barbecue. It's not about business, and it doesn't take all day. But if you're not committed to it, if you don't do it on purpose, if you go there with the hope of talking to somebody, it won't happen. And if it does, you'll screw it up. And what I mean by that is you'll talk at them. You'll tell them about what you want them to hear. I was listening to the people on the plane, and they were selling this 60,000 mile credit card, right? And I love the credit card. I have it. And they came on the loudspeaker, and they're reading a script probably. And she says, it was going through some turbulence, and people are watching their movies and doing all that. And they're like, we wanted to, they must set a time that they're going to do this, but we wanted to take this time to share with you, the credit card that has 60,000 miles. And she went through all these benefits. And for most people, right? And she's like, they're going to come through the cabin, and you can take one and bring it to family, take it to your family, if they're not on this airline who you think would want it, right? And it's all fact. It's all crap. There's no emotion to it at all. Imagine if she got on the phone and she's up there and she's like, hey folks, hope you're enjoying the flight. I'm sure you're wondering, how can I upgrade to first class? How can I get on another flight and go for another flight free? I bet you all think about, the opportunity to fly with your family. Well, here's an opportunity that you can't miss. Take one of these flyers and you can sign up and get 60,000 miles. That's 2 round trip domestic flights free, and you're flying next month with your family, right? She's providing a year older. I love you, Joanne. That's so funny. Oh yeah, I'll give my phone number, Luz. It's I'll give it here. I'll text it in there. 760-533-3141. So you guys imagine if she came online and she was like, asking people, does anybody here want to fly for free next time you fly? Does anybody here want to upgrade to first class for no money and do it through their miles? Does it, all these benefits that she could have asked people if they wanted to, and then provided a solution, which is just take this stupid flyer and fill it out. This credit card thing, right? I guarantee more people would have listened. They would have stopped, worrying about what their movie's going to play again, and they would have listened to it, and they would have taken it. It's the same thing with your family and your friends, the people they care about. They care about it, but you know what I mean? It's not about what you want. We wanted to take the opportunity now. Well, I don't want you to take the opportunity right now. I want to finish my damn movie. Take the opportunity when I'm getting off the plane and I'm not paying attention. Right? But instead, it wastes 5 minutes of my time trying to tell me about something I'm not ready to hear about. Right? But now if they had opened it up with a few questions and piqued my interest, I would have forgot about the movie and I would have been listening and I probably would have applied for the credit card I already owned. Same thing with your friends and family. You care about them. If you care about them, then let's do it on purpose. Go to your 4th of July parade, go to your party, go to your barbecue, get on the beach, do whatever you're going to do on purpose. It's not the whole time. You know you're not going to be pushing pushing this down their throat. You know what you're going to do. And it's a few minutes. It's little bits and pieces when you're in there, but you're doing it on purpose because you care. And you're asking questions. How's it going? How could, did you have to take off work? Like my sister, for example, you guys, her work schedule, she only has a certain amount of time where she can take off. So she's flying on the 4th of July out here, right? Her soon-to-be husband is not coming with her. They just took a nice trip. They drove up the coast. They had a week off, right? But they know they need a week off at Christmas. But because everybody in her office gets the 4th of July off, she has to take a paid vacation day off on Friday and go back Sunday. So my question is going to be, how does it make you feel when, this is the only time and Jeff's not here? Something to that extent, right? And it's going to be time-wise, but I'm going to be thinking about it when she's here and when a good opportunity is for me to bring it up, right? I'm going to ask her, how's it going, right? How come Jeff couldn't come? What's your schedule? You guys plans for Christmas already, right? I'm going to do it on purpose because I want to provide a solution for her to not have to be a slave to her job and when she can get off work. Like, it's crazy to me. She's planning her 4th of July week based on one day that she has to take a paid vacation day off to get the long weekend. Fortunately, 4th of July falls on a Thursday. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. She wouldn't be here. So when you do this, practice with the people that mean the most to you. Practice with your 5 stars. Practice with your leadership. Practice with your people in your team. And then go home or go to your beach and do it on purpose. Take the opportunity when you're with friends and family to be committed to yourself, to be committed to your business, to be committed to the opportunity, to be committed to Leaders Retreat. And this will help you get there, right? By being on purpose when you're at your friends and family 4th of July gatherings. I'll finish with this. I'll give you guys my number one more time as well. And I'll say goodbye in a minute, but I'll finish with this. I'm just trying to check the time. 10:56. So remember why we do this, right? It's crazy to me. If you haven't seen the movie, I think it's called A Dog's Way Home. Read the book, maybe. It's crazy. I don't even know if you should do it because it's heartbreaking, even though the dog gets home. But I'm home, and my mom and dad are in their 70s, and I'll tell you that they are mortal, and I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I never thought that would be that way, that they would get old. And, I'm hoping I have 25 more years with them. My parents are fairly healthy. But there's always, you could just tell that there's age. And I don't know, man. We we want what we want. We desire what we desire. But we go on our days and our years, pushing through the rat race and working hard and doing the things we're supposed to do, taking our kids to their events. But the one thing we know that can help us stop the madness and spend time with the people we love and we care about that are getting older and be able to care for them, we neglect. What I mean is, we all know real estate is the number one way that we have the best shot at becoming wealthy. We know that with Robert Kiyosaki and his speeches on Rich Dad Poor Dad, having a business, the business brings in more money, then we get the knowledge on how to invest it long term, control our own investments, grow our money, multiply it, rinse and repeat. We know that this is the system. Now we have the vehicle, which is make $10,000 checks, change people's lives, learn to invest in real estate while we're building our business. And then, like Bob Seiner just said, finally pull the trigger and start buying some properties. Then we can velocity bank them the crap out of them. We can leverage them again. We can fix our credit. We can build business credit. We have every freaking tool there you want to accelerate your rate of wealth and the opportunity for you to spend time with your family. And we don't do it. We make excuses. We put it off. We don't talk to people. We're afraid of what we look like Michael Huggins says. We care more about what someone's going to think about us than we do about changing our lives so we can go spend time with family. I'm not. I'm going to talk to more people. I'm going to buy more real estate. I'm going to continue to work my butt off, and I'm going to continue to take the opportunity to see my family as much as possible. Because God forbid that I ever lose my mom and dad. You guys, you have a fantastic opportunity to go to Leaders Retreat and surround yourself with some of the greatest people in this business. And Bob Snyder and the pack themselves. People that have gone through what you're going through. You have a fantastic opportunity to spend time with your family and the people you care about, your friends, the people you want to work with, the people you like the most. And we are too concerned about saying the wrong thing, about pushing some product on them, about trying to sell them something, right? And if you want to do it the right way, then practice. Be prepared. Don't throw up on them. Don't tell them what you want. Don't tell them how you want them to fill out the application for 60,000 free miles. Ask them why they want 60,000 free miles and how they want to fly free and how they want to have a credit card with no fees and how they want to make double points. You're welcome, Scott. Look around this time when you're with your family and tell yourself you want to do it twice as much next year or 3 times as much next year. That in fact, you want to fly them to where you live. And if you want that, then commit to this business. Stop half-assing it. Commit to it. Commit to yourself. Commit to this and commit to making a step every single day. Talk to the people that you've already got on your team, that you've already invited to the event, and do it with some care. Don't do it in a passing 1-minute text. Put some thought behind it. Do it on purpose. Commit to yourself. I'm going to. All right, folks. It's top of the hour, 760-533-3141. Whoops, it didn't type in there. Hold on. 760-533-3141. That's my cell number. Obviously, I'm on vacation, so I might take an extra few minutes to get back to you, but I will. I love you guys. I can't wait to be back here next Tuesday working with you. I'll be back in. You're welcome, Leslie. I'll be back in Phoenix. Have a great 4th of July. Have a safe 4th of July. Drive fast. Take a lot of chances. Talk to people. Get on these training calls the next few days, and just make it awesome. Melissa, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Rico. You're awesome. Thank you guys for being on this call. I love every one of you. Have a great day. Thanks, Luis. Love it. Have a great holiday. I will. I appreciate you guys. Make it a great Tuesday. Have fun. Thanks for sharing your time with me. I just really, really appreciate every one of you guys. So cool. You're welcome, Patricia. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and sign off and say goodbye and close out the meeting for everybody. But I just want to say you guys are awesome. 760-533-3141. Make it a great 4th of July. I'll talk to everybody soon.